Hello East Long Meadow students, parents and families and community members. Behind this mask, I'm Greg Thompson, the school committee chair. I'm joined today by Mr. Smith, our superintendent, Mr. FREDETTE, Maple Shade principal. I wanted to just take an opportunity to show students and families what a day in the life of our students will be as we return to more in-person learning. As I said, we're at Maple Shade today, so specifically the younger kids. We'll take an opportunity to look at the process as students arrive at school. We'll get into a classroom, see how the spacing will be, how the remote learners will be perceiving the classroom. We'll take a chance to talk about the way lunch will be going and also some of the other specials and things throughout the day. So we'll be acting as students to some extent. We'll have Mr. Smith and Mr. FREDETTE kind of walk us through it all and hopefully answer some of the questions that folks are having as we again get closer to getting more of our students for in-person learning.
Hello, I'm Mr. FREDETTE behind this mask, and I have Mr. Smith and Mr. Thompson who are going to be, like Maple Shade students, arriving to our car line at Maple Shade School in the morning. So generally in car line, we just let students out, play in the playground, but this is not a situation where we're going to do that. We want to maintain 6 feet of space, and we want to maintain the integrity of our students' masks as they enter the building. So at 8:05, when you arrive into car line, a staff member will come out and signal to the cars that the students can get out. The students will get out, they'll stay spaced 6 feet apart. Come on out, Mr. Thompson, Mr. Smith, and they will find a dot in the back of their classroom on the playground where they can stand 6 feet apart. So if this were a day that's cold or the weather is not that great, we can just quickly have them stand here on a dot, 6 feet apart in a safe way. This is Mrs. Haley's classroom. Mrs. Haley will greet Mr. Smith, come on in, have a great day. Mr. Thompson, come on in. This is probably a better place for Mrs. Haley or myself to stay. There's a sanitizing pump as they walk in. Students will go directly to their seats. So they will have an assigned desk, an assigned chair every day where they will sit. Typically, a student would walk in and go right to the coat rack with all of their belongings, but they're going to sit in their seats if you see them back there, and then they will wait for the teacher's next cue to allow them to go to their coat racks in a spaced way. So Mr. Smith, you can go and hang your coat on the coat rack and put your belongings there and return to your seat. And then when Mr. Smith is all set with his belongings, Mr. Thompson will go and he will put his belongings on the coat rack. Now this classroom, as Mr. Thompson is getting his coat hung on the rack, is spaced out for the number of students that will be in this room that we are expecting to arrive when we begin on the 19th. This is Mrs. Haley's room, and this is this is 6 desks, all spaced apart, where the students will be when we arrive on the 19th. This also includes students that would be included into this classroom for specials, and specials also will take place in the classroom. No more than 6 students will be in this room at a time for the students that we do expect to come. So specials will happen. Music class, music teacher, Miss Teig will come in and deliver music instruction. Also enrichment, same way. The only class that the students will leave to join in another room or another environment is PE. Our gymnasium is large, it's spacious, the kids need movement breaks, so they will go to the gymnasium for PE class. Students will also eat their lunch in the classroom. Lunches will be delivered to the room, they'll be brought to the students' desks by the duty teacher, or the students will get their lunches in a one-on-one format to come back to their desk, take their mask, facing forward, eat their lunch, put their mask back on, be directed to dispose of their trash, sanitize their space, sanitize their hands, either with a pump or in the back of the classroom. We have soap and a running water and paper towels, and then return to their desks. They then will have recess. So what will happen in a spaced way, you see Mr. Smith has completed his lunch, he's sanitized. Mr. Thompson's completed his lunch, he's sanitized. They can both stand up, and we will have them come in 6 feet apart in a spaced way to go out to the playground. There you go, Mr. Thompson. Nice job. Mr. Smith, nice job. and they will go out to play. Out here, we are still maintaining the mask mandate of masks all the time, everywhere, and 6 feet apart. The playground, this section of the playground will be broken up into 3 sections: the hard top, the ball field, and the far left side of the field. We will have no more than 20 students, probably more like 10, on each section of the playground at a time to socialize from a distance. They can play passing games with a ball, kicking games with a ball. They can jump rope and not share the jump rope. They could play sort of like a 2-square game rather than a 4-square game. And our PE teacher, Mrs. Hodges, will also be teaching the students some safe, socially distanced games that would be fun for them, so they still can come out and have some things to do that they've learned how to do during physical education class. So basically, the kids will play, and the staff will just make sure they maintain their space and have their masks on. If they did want to take a break outside with their mask, if Mr. Smith and I were sort of playing, I could turn and take a few breaths and put my mask back on and continue playing and socializing with Mr. Smith. So that is basically how arrival, lunch, sanitizing, the playground will work in a nutshell. I do want to go inside and explain some of the supplies that the teachers have, some things that students are going to be given to them that might be helpful, and then Mr. Smith will discuss the instruction in the new technology that we have in the classrooms. Sanitizing on the way in. If you come back here, you'll notice that every classroom is outfitted with certain supplies and materials for safety and for help with instruction. Everyone has rubber gloves, additional child-sized face masks in case students break theirs or lose theirs, or it falls on the floor, or they don't arrive with one. Alcohol-based wipes, so students can sanitize their own stations with an alcohol-based wipe. We also have larger size disposable masks. These are earbuds with a microphone for every student, so especially when they go home and they want to continue being streamed into their classroom and hear and see what's going on, they can have earbuds with a microphone. I think those are helpful. We also have an extension cord here for our technology in case a teacher needs this for her laptop or his laptop or something else that they need to plug in, like their separate monitor. They have face shields and eye goggles. Oh no, these are actually the shield clips onto these. They have face shields. They have a plexiglass barrier here on a kidney table. And then Mr. Smith will walk you through the instruction with the separate monitor and the camera with the teacher's laptop that will be available to them too.
Thank you, Mr. Fredette. Now I have the opportunity to give everyone a look at some of the new technology that we'll be utilizing as we start to bring more students in, while also having some of our students still learning remotely. And so, as Mr. Fredette alluded to, all teachers have a laptop, and they'll continue to utilize that. That laptop is able to connect with the projector that's mounted on the ceiling and then project onto the whiteboard here. Or they can go in a much more traditional way, use their whiteboard. All of this is something that the in-person students will be able to take in just as they would on any normal school day. What we're adding is a new webcam. So if teachers want to offer different viewpoints for students at home, if they want to start to utilize this and show more of what they're doing on the whiteboard, they're going to be able to send this to students who are learning remotely utilizing this web camera. They also will have a second monitor which will be hooked to their computer, and so students who are logging in at home will be on this monitor, and teachers can set it up to the position that they think is going to be best for their classroom. They can put it in the middle. In this case, I have it here on the side if I was teaching from the front of the room. So not only will I be able to see the students who are learning remotely, but students in the class who are in person will be able to see the students who are learning remotely. And both The webcam and the laptops, as we know, have microphones. So they can switch back and forth, whichever one is going to be best for that given situation. So that they'll be able to present, share their screen if they want to the students at home, but also be projecting some kind of presentation for the students in the classroom. And that's something that we're going to be working on next week with our staff to make sure that they're feeling comfortable with all this and that they have the opportunities to start work with this, plan with this, and prepare for students who will be returning in person starting on January 19th.
As a principal of East Longmeadow Public Schools, who are representing all of the other principals in all of our schools, I'd really like to say two things. The first thing is the students who have, and the parents who have elected to have their students come into school in person. We are really looking forward to having you here. Like, without a doubt, without question, the thing we're looking forward to the most is to actually see our students again, or some of our students again in person. And the second thing that is the absolute most priority, largest priority once you are here, is your safety. By safety is your spacing, your sanitation, and to make sure that we are doing everything that we're supposed to do according to our safety protocols, so you feel comfortable and you feel happy here in school. So on behalf of all of the East Longmeadow Public School principals, we look forward to seeing the students here on January 19th. Thank you very much.